G'day everyone, Jason Nunn from Fisherman's Warehouse Marine, Sweet Street at Warners Bay, your Newcastle Honda marine dealer, and a beautiful Thursday down here on the lake. Tomorrow, being Friday, northeast winds with a few showers. Saturday for the fishermen, looks like you're going to have half a day, maybe 2/3 of the day, looking pretty good. Northwest to west, and that little bit of a southerly starts late on Saturday, but Sunday, forget it guys. 25 to 30, south-southwest on Sunday, possibly showers, and that turns right into Monday. So our next real avenue or window of weather will be really next Wednesday, when it looks absolutely perfect next Wednesday. So we're going to get a day, a little bit of a day, day and a half out of it, and then it's all going to just fall away. Tides, which are really important for this weekend, you've got some big tides. Full moon tonight. So not next, but Saturday, 10:15, 1.99 metre high tide, and around about the 4:30, 4:45, low in the afternoons. There's some very big tides now of a morning as we're moving through this spring phase, and being the highlight being the full moon tonight. Remember, 10 nights from tonight gives you the first prawn run, which is next Saturday. That'll be that'll be probably the best run you'll get out of the lake, and hopefully we see quite a number of prawns come out. If we get a little bit of rain in that next 10-day period, fantastic. Bit of a southerly, which we're going to get on the weekend, will push some of these prawns out of the back of the lake. Now, prawns themselves, guys, just to give you a heads up, very difficult to get. Now, I spoke to Tweed Bait in particular. Green prawns, the old going to the service station or the tackle shop to buy a packet of green prawns is basically non-existent. You're only seeing bananas, corals and endeavours. So the river, Hunter River, opens up the 1st of November, which is just around the corner. But now, because of that white spot problem in the mid-north coast, Clarence and the Richmond and the like, we're only seeing a couple of estuaries on the east coast produce prawns. Mile Lake's been one, Hunter River, and of course the Hawkesbury. Definitely we'll see some prawns down in the Tuggerah Lakes area, but that is it. The demand on green prawns from the food industry, particularly out of Victoria and Melbourne in particular, where they cook a lot of prawns, and nowadays they're cooking them whole, those green prawns are bringing a premium at the market, which is now competing against bait prawns. So, prawn run in 10 days' time means that that's an opportunity to actually get out and get some green prawns, because at the moment there are not a lot of prawns around, and it looks very bleak for this summer, I might add. Out wide, now caught up with Brent Hancock from Tackle World at Port Stephens this week. Marlin to the north of Port Stephens, as there are still some striped marlin off our mid-canyons down toward the southerns. Looks very good on that southern canyons at the moment, but reports of some yellowfin to the north of Port Stephens and around about that 400 to 600 fathom mark as well, looking very good. And over the next few weeks, hopefully we get a break in the weather to get out there, but things looking very, very good. And Brent also reported dolphin fish on the fad, and that's exactly what's happening out here off Swansea. We're seeing dolphin fish on the fad and on them outer traps. Very early, but at least we're seeing them, and it's very, very encouraging. Still a few kings down on the Texas, guys, definitely trag, but those barracuda been very troublesome, so it's a long way to go not to catch anything. The inshore fishery right up and down the coast, plenty of snapper, Broughton Island up towards Seals. Brent was talking about that. Down towards Boat Harbour, some really nice fish up to 6 kilo, but some really nice inshore snapper from probably around about Big Ben all the way down to Wyebung at the moment. So Merriweather, Bar Beach, Dudley Redhead, that area there, looking good, and it probably won't be too bad Saturday morning on that nor'wester. You'll gain some protection, and that beautiful tide at 10:15 will be perfect. Beaches, few tailor, a lot of salmon as we've talked about, and the odd bream, flathead. It's not very exciting on the beach yet, and there hasn't been any whiting turn up at Blacksmith's Breakwater yet. But after this prawn run, that's when you'll start to see it come through. And of course, tube worm's going to be the pick. Tube worms to you, and of course New Age down at Swansea. They're the only two guys who will get tube worms from this summer, I believe. Now, rocks, there's that bit of swell. There was a bit of swell this morning, 1.5 metres, probably 1.8 metres. It's going to linger a little bit, and will probably increase with that impending south-southwest change Sunday. So you've got to be careful on the rocks. That big tide with a bit of swell could be real dicky. So you've got to take your care, have a look at it. If it's not worthwhile going, don't do it. But on that high tide, some good opportunities there for drummer and brim. Burly hard, unweighted baits, fish into the wash, and you'll probably be rewarded by some very, very nice fish. We're getting plenty of reports now coming out of the lake. Quite a lot of jewfish, mulloway of course, in the lake itself, but we're now seeing a lot of flathead around. Mick Bennett just sent me a photograph. Very nice flathead around about 72 release. Got another one in the 50s and a couple of smaller ones, some flounder and some tailor, and that's what we're seeing, a real blend of fish. Reds, brim, some very nice trevally. Spoke to Jim Rocky through the week as well. Some beautiful trevally, 50 or better, getting caught in Belmont Bay. So we're starting to see this increase of trevally, not only in that Salts Bay seaward side of the bridge area, but right now throughout the lake. So it's really sort of spicing itself up. But these flathead are now moving into the shallows, and you'll see a real increase in fish numbers on the back of this prawn run. Can't stress it enough. It is going to be when it just totally turns and changes about. We're starting to see some good whiting. Patrick sent a good photo there today, 40 centimetres. So these fish will gain a lot of condition as a result of that prawn run, which will be the highlight of the year. It'll just start, it'll be the trigger event that we've talked about. So Bob Mowbray through the week, he's still getting a lot of crabs, but as we've spoken about the last few weeks as well, a lot of crabs in berry. So there's a lot of female crabs out there, guys. So you just got to be a little bit careful when you're using the witches' hats. Just try to cut the netting off them and let them go back in. But it is very early to see so many female crabs in berry at that present moment. But the blueies they're getting in the deeper water, some really good quality amongst them. Still a few squid getting caught, and I think on that full moon, the opportunity now to get stuck into a few of these mulloway with these live squid, or even if they're just fresh, look, even frozen at the moment, you will still catch quite a few mulloway. And there's a few tailor at Poolba and a little bit of variant in size. Mixed reports, fish 25 to 35, but there is the odd better fish, and still, not surprisingly, but still seeing salmon. I think those salmon that are in the lake now will be here all year. You'll just be totally unavoidable. All in all, guys, have a good short weekend, because Sunday doesn't look great. Fantastic weather next Wednesday for those that are going out wide or going to get out onto the lake. Enjoy yourselves, and we'll see you next week.